So I'm on my third round, and this right here is what we just baled. The yield on that was all 70%. I don't know how much better this will be, but it's had somewhere between 3 and 4 days more growth times since we had the rain. And some places, as I drive through them, down along in there and on the back side, it looks like it's more hay, which is good. I cannot make a square corner at all. It's genetically impossible. But, you know, considering the drought, the only thing I know to do to increase yield is to keep cutting. So this is, you see a little bit of this stuff right in here. You see a bunch of it over there. That's those heads, maybe you can see that. That's that velvet grass. So I'm just kind of avoiding some of those areas in the corners. If it gets cut for hay, it'll be for trashy price hay, which still brings more money around here than the premium brown bale hay. But down in here, it looks more, looks thicker, you know. What's coming off the back of the mower conditioner. And I'm mowing at a 5-inch stubble. I've got it as high as it'll cut. That's what I like. And it thins out down in through here. It always has. The majority of seed heads you see in here, and it kind of surprises me this year, is orchard grass. And you know, fescue takes over everything. This was a 100% Timothy field not too long ago. And but the Timothy's died off. There's still a fair amount of Timothy in here, but I'm surprised that the orchard grass has come in the way it has. It appears to be competitive with the fescue that's in here, which is okay with me. Orchard grass sells. And of course, with orchard grass and even fescue, you know, you're going to get a second cutting. It might be on out into August. I don't know. This year with the drought, who knows? Who knows when you'll get it, if you get it at all. But considering the yield that we got on that other section of this field, I'm glad I didn't clip it. But one thing I saw last year, I can clip the fescue and Timothy, the fescue and orchard grass. And what'll happen is the Timothy heads come in later, and they'll come in and the field kind of resembles a Timothy field. But it's really, you know, fescue, orchard grass, and Timothy. So right now, you're not seeing the Timothy heads. They would be climax Timothy in here, which is a later matured compared to Claire, which I planted in my west field years ago. But they're definitely Timothy in here. It's a good grass mix. If you're new to the channel, this is a 1977 Massey Ferguson 1105. It's got a 354 turbo Perkins diesel, and this is a Krone 2801cv impeller tine mower conditioner. It does a great job on grass and these stems. It's pretty thick right down in here. I've been running in low range, third gear multi-power high, but I want to pick up my speed some. So I've changed over to high range multi-power low, and I want to kick it up to high multi-power high, but I'm a little paranoid. There's a fawn in here. I saw a doe a few minutes ago, kind of jumping around down there towards the woods. And I've seen a place where it looks like a fawn or something has been bedded down. And I've seen a fawn with a doe around her old barn, and I actually on the white barn with the green roof, I was working on a kicker wagon today. Right outside, and I almost stepped on a fawn. That thing was about 3 feet away from me, right up against the building. And that thing couldn't have been more than a day old. It just laid there and didn't move. And then when I went to move the wagon with my tractor, it muscled itself up and hustled out of the way, but it didn't go very far. And so I'm concerned that there might be one laying in here, and I don't want to run a fawn through my mower conditioner. Now, there was a black snake. Sometimes we get those in our bales. I know for sure going to be one bale of hay with a black snake in it. The idiot black snake saw me coming and started slithering towards the tractor like it was going to, you know, sometimes those black snakes are territorial. It looked like it didn't want the tractor there and was going to make a deal out of it. And I thought it was going to run under the tractor. But at the last minute, it made a beeline for the hay that was going into pickup. So somehow or another, I think we got some extra protein in at least one bale. They typically don't survive the compression on a square bale. I'm starting to lose the sun a little bit. The grass looks pretty good, I think. And the yield's just not there. This Massey Ferguson has a good ride to it. And sometimes, because of my genetic inability to make a sharp turn, I just have to cut across and come back and get those little places later. The Krone is 2-point hitch mounted, and it's got a gearbox swivel head on it, so there's no funky CV joints on this thing. You know, no CV joints to go bad, or U joints. I really like the equal angle hitch that's on my John Deere 348 square baler. It's such a simple idea and it works. I'm not sure why they don't utilize that more. And New Holland made a round baler that I like, a 648. One thing I like about it is it's got an equal angle PTO shaft on it. Hitch that's made you know, you have a equal angle hitch, you got a short drive shaft, and you know, you get some age on you like I got, and it's a real challenge to pick up some of these PTO shafts, and you know, that they have the CV joint on the end that hooks up to your tractor. The John Deere equal angle hitch and the stubby little PTO shaft that's on there, it's gravy to hook up. I would consider one of those 648 round balers if I could find one. What I'd really like to do though is buy a brand new John Deere 450M, 451M. Thought I was going to buy one last year. I got my round baler, John Deere round baler, rolling the bale pretty good, so I backed out on it. Not that you know, it's hard to pencil out a new round baler, especially with the market we got. But the two things I think about is, number one, it's kind of a generational purchase in a lot of ways. So if I could put a decent, if I could fix my kids up with decent equipment, you know, carry them on into their 50s, I don't have a problem doing that. The second thing is, standing on your head working on some of this older equipment, it's nice. Sometimes it's enjoyable, but sometimes there's a lot of gnashing of teeth in the bill from the emergency room, from the heart attack that you have, or the stroke, or the broken bone because something fell on you. Your copay could probably pay for a new round baler. Ultimately, if I buy one, it will be because I want to buy one. Now right here, this corner is impossible. So I'm just going to cut across like this, and then I'll come back and deal with that corner later. See that? I'll come back. Once I kick this tractor in high range, first gear, multi-power high, I'm going about 7 miles an hour. 9-foot cut on the Krone. Historically, we've had 7-foot cut sickle mower and sickle hay mower conditioners. But I can really cover some ground once I kick it into high range, first gear, multi-power high. I could go faster and get a cleaner cut, get a clean cut, but you're not going to stay in the seat. These old Massey 1105s and 1135s, what was it, the 1100, I forget the model that came before this. See, 1105, 1100, and 1130. They were great tractors too. This has got a nice cab, good visibility, dirty windows. I can't blame that on Massey Ferguson. Got an excellent ride. The ergonomics are good. The hydraulics and lift, everything's right in here. Throttle. There's your gear shifters. There goes that deer. Look out. It's almost like she wants me to chase her. Let me cut this thing off and keep an eye on where I'm going. I see deer jumping around at the edge of the hay fields and running through them, I think to myself, they're trying to, if I was a predator, they're trying to get me to give chase and get away from the fawn. I just feel like there's a baby fawn in here or close by, or they wouldn't be doing that. Get this time of year with them dropping fawns right and left. I mean, they're always up in the road, but it seems like a lot of times they have their fawns right beyond the ditch on the side of the road. They just run right out in front of your car. And deer are a real problem. Deer and automobiles are a real problem. I've slowed it down to multi-power low here for a little bit, so I can kind of see a little bit better down into the grass. Aside from the velvet grass and an occasional milkweed, I'm seeing very little weed pressure in this field. Both sides of the field, which is a good thing. I do not use herbicides that have residuals. Supposedly, if you spray with some of that stuff, like Drought, is that how you pronounce it? And there's another one, I forget the name of it. But you can look on the label and they'll tell you, in Virginia, you're not allowed to take the hay off of the farm for 18 months. You go down to Tennessee, you can. They have a supplemental label. So if you lived in Bristol, Tennessee, your farm was divided by the state line. One half of your farm you can sell hay, and the other half you have to wait. The craziest thing. The supplemental label is, I think the requirement is you got to tell people that your hay has got, herbicide on it that has carryover, so don't put it on your beans or your tomato plants. It passes through the cattle, the horses, and whatever into the manure, and if you use it for fertilizer, you might have a problem. Alright, so I got this side of the field cut. I did not run over a fawn, but I did see two places where clearly one or two had been bedded down over in here. But anyway, Massey Ferguson 1105 did a great job. The Krone 2801, that's a great combination. So we're going to leave it right here and pick up with something else on the next video. We'll talk to you later.